Hi cats and kittens, it's Amy from Savor Salvage Scent. I hope this finds you well on what is a beautiful Friday here in Cleveland, Ohio. Welcome back to those of you who have been part of this channel before, and welcome to those of you who are new. If you enjoy this content, I hope that you'll comment below, participate, and subscribe. The dialogue means a lot to me, so thanks. I am continuing today a series, an ongoing series that is focused on Black and brown people and their contributions to the world of perfumery. It is not in chronological order as far as what scents came first or most recently. Instead, I'm trying to mix it up a little and just share some perfumes that are either created by Black noses, by Black companies, Black entrepreneurs. And the reason I feel it's important to do this is as I've collected perfume and tried to learn more about fragrance over the past, 25, 30 years, I often see, I would say, if not a large part of the population, maybe even a majority of Black and brown people supporting the market. However, I don't see fair representation as far as noses and creators, and I think, systemic racism is a player in that, of course. So I think one of the coolest things we can do is give credit where credit is due and share more information and create a platform where people of all cultures and interests, contributions can thrive. So today we're going to be talking a little bit about the House of Chris Collins, and I learned a little bit about him online and his line. It sounded really interesting. My understanding is he is not the actual perfumer. He works with a variety of noses, but he has such a passion for storytelling and for fragrance that he works collaboratively and closely with them to have created this line. I'll show you a little bit of the materials I received. Mr. Collins is, a lot of you will know his face. I think, first of all, these are the materials that came. I bought a sample set, and I will say it looks like the majority of his scents, so I received 6. I think he has 7 or 8 out. They are, I would say, either marketed toward men or as unisex scents. As I've said a million times, I don't necessarily play by those rules. I definitely think these perhaps have, stronger, more herbal elements, things that are often geared toward men, but I think some of these scents could be worn by anyone who loves them. But you might recognize him. He was the face for Ralph Lauren Polo. He might still be, I'm not sure, but immediately when I saw his face, I was like, oh my gosh, yes. I just feel like he looks like he's chiseled out of stone, dear God. But just has a striking style, and but his his materials are so gorgeous and totally have an aesthetic. Again, this sample set, it was just $20, and they send 6 large samples, and I love that they're sprayers, they're not dabbers, so they're really easy to enjoy. And I just have to say, this packaging just from the get-go was like crazy beautiful. This velvet pouch, these were tucked inside, and this beautiful ribbon labels all of it's just beautiful. So he knows, he knows what he's looking for, and he has an amazing aesthetic and style right from the go. The other thing I'll mention that I think is just so awesome is this was merely $20 with shipping, and then he sends, or his company sends, a coupon where you can apply that $20 to a full bottle fragrance, which is amazing. Like, to me, that's somebody who believes in their product. They're like, you know, I know you're going to come back to me, and I certainly am going to. Like, I'm just over the moon with these. And this is another example of, I would say, not every one of the 6 is for me, but they're all amazing. I mean, just amazing, and really, I would say, diverse. So can't wait to share a little more. So again, just a beautiful presentation. I'll be honest, one of the things that attracted me to his scents or his house was I had read that I am obsessed with Josephine Baker, and one of my favorite hobbies is to like research what starlets of the past, artists, innovators, wore as perfume. And that I would love to do a video another time of some of the scents she wore, but what interested me about Chris Collins is he actually created a scent called Diaspora Sauvage that is supposed to kind of represent Josephine Baker, and I believe it's one of his series that focuses on the Harlem Renaissance, which is a love of mine. So I will say, sadly, and I'm so happy for him, it happened to be sold out, so I got 6 scents, not Dance Sauvage, but it sounds incredible. It sounds like it's like earthy, tobacco-y, plummy, so I cannot wait to try it when it's back in stock. The full-size bottles, oh gosh, I can't remember if they're 3.4 ounce. I have to look, but anyways, large size bottles appear to range in price from like $150 to $180, I want to say. So I would say, you know, like in line with the cost of a niche fragrance. And again, I think it's a nice incentive that if you invest in the sample set, you get that money right back too. So then your bottle, I think, becomes even more economical. So I'm going to talk just a little bit. I'm not going to go through every little detail because, again, there are 6 scents here, but I want to talk about just what I think makes them unique and some of the notes and things like that. Okay, so I have sprayed them all on little test strips and kind of collected my thoughts here in no particular order. Let's see. I'm going to start with Tokyo Blue. So Tokyo Blue, the nose is Natalie, I think it's pronounced, I hope it's Fleischhauer, and it looks like she has a long past with Givaudan, the school and the creators, and has created many perfumes. It looks like, I think there are 3 different noses that have collaborated with him for this line, but it looks like I think she created at least 3 or 4, maybe 5 even. So looks like that's a main collaborator. So for Tokyo Blue, the top is bergamot, galbanum, ylang ylang. The mid notes are violet leaf, orris, root, mimosa. Gosh, I wish I could read my writing. Orange blossom and rose. And the base notes are cedar and musk. And so I'll say this is marketed toward men. And this is one that I'm just gonna say, I am not a man. However, this is so beautiful. I think what is so cool about this is it's what I would call a green scent. And it's funny because, there's not a ton of green in this, but like for me, the bergamot, the violet leaf stand out. It's got a little bit of powderiness from the orris root. Definitely cedar and musk. But I would say this is a unique green scent. It does not smell like all of them. It's really like clean, but without being like obnoxiously smelling like a dryer sheet. It smells good and earthy. It's a little strong. I would say this is one that you probably, well, for me, I would just spray a few times. I'm an oversprayer, so a few times is minimal. But a really interesting, creative, beautiful green scent. Okay, so that again is Tokyo Blue. Love the name. Okay, next is, Sweet Taboo. Oh gosh. Okay, so gorgeous. Again, the nose is Natalie. And the top notes are clary sage, cinnamon, and cardamom. The middle notes are geranium, cacao, and coffee. And the base notes are benzoin, tonka, vanilla, and musk. Now, of course, sometimes I always think of this like when I compare reading notes to dating. Some things really sound great on paper, and then you might meet the person and be like, I'm not sure. But when I read these notes, I was like, this sounds like somebody I want to date. And when I smell it, in fact, I say, I really want to date this long term. Okay, so Sweet Taboo is a perfect name. To me, this is what I would call a bright gourmand. So foodie enough that it's got, you know, spice, cacao, coffee, tonka, vanilla, like definitely has things that are gourmand running through it. It's not candy or just sweet cake gourmand. It's got some brightness in it too, and I think my guess is that is from the clary sage and the geranium. So it's like this bright, beautiful, but still spicy scent, and it's warm, and I would say anybody could wear this. And to me, this probably leans a bit like a fall or a cold weather scent, but it's gentle still enough that it could be worn now too. So just a really lovely, lovely creation. Okay, next is Harlem Nights. Gosh, if I had to choose my favorite, I think it would be Harlem Nights and one more I'm going to talk about. They're all good though. Okay, so this, the nose is Marone. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Couldn't find much about the nose. The top notes are rum, cloves, nutmeg, and saffron, as well as grapefruit and lemon. Man, I love those things, all of them. Mid notes are jasmine, cedar, orris root, and patchouli. And the base notes are sandalwood, vetiver, vanilla, and musk. This again is perfectly named. To me, I mean, again, this is, I think, focusing on the Harlem Renaissance, and it, to me, contains all the things that you would imagine being in a jazz club at that time. It's like boozy, spicy, it's got a lot of depth, really interesting composition, it's warm, and to me, what I get from this, and it's interesting because I mean, cedar's a middle note, but to me, I get like a rummy, tobacco-y inside of a cedar chest or a humidor. My dad was an industrial artist and made me a cedar chest, and it is just the greatest smell when I first open it in the fall to get my sweaters out, etc. It smells old, full of wisdom, cedary, of course. And that's, to me, what this smells like. It's like warm, spicy, boozy, and cedar. It's gorgeous. Okay, so that is Harlem Nights. All right, 3 more. Okay, let's see. Ooh, this one I'm really excited about. Renaissance Man. So, the nose again is, oh, actually this is another person, Laura Santantoni. Again, don't know this person, but would like to learn more. The top notes are bergamot, ginger, pink pepper, and C notes. You might ask yourself, as I do, what are C notes? Not exactly sure. Smell like the water. Middle notes are sage, cedar, honey, and cinnamon. Again, yum. Base notes are sandalwood, tonka, tobacco, and leather. So marketed toward men. I would say, even though I can get down with just about everything, this, I'll give it to him. This is a masculine scent. I think it would be fun to gender bend a little and wear it. This is deep. It's gorgeous. And to me, what is so cool about it is a really, to me, original aquatic. What comes out first for me are these C notes. Sometimes though, I feel like people do aquatics really poorly, really cheaply. Again, they smell like a bad interpretation of water is. Dryer sheets, overly clean, screechy. This is like a funky bit of C note, but mixed with these spices and cinnamon and leather. Man, it's so rich. It's really, really nice. I venture to say if I smelled this on a man, it would positively influence me. Okay, so Renaissance man, really freaking cool aquatic, really cool. And I don't say that often. I think there are a lot of bad aquatics in the world. Okay, 2 more. All right, I think I'm gonna save my favorite for last. Next is Autumn Rhythm. Yeah, okay, so the nose again is Natalie. The top notes are bergamot. Green notes, again, who knows what green notes are in this case? Could be various things. Middle notes are mate, which I love. Mate helped me get off coffee. It's kind of smoky, tobacco-y, tea and coffee-like. Yeah, mixture of tea and coffee. Lily of the Valley, cardamom and orris root. And then the base notes are leather, cedar, tonka, ambrette, and musk. Wow. This is another one that kind of smells like the inside of a cedar chest to me. However, I would say this is my least favorite of the line. It's still really good. It's just not one for me that's a favorite. This is, okay, opposite of what I said earlier. This is one of those things where I read the notes and I'm like, I'm gonna love this. And then I'm like, you know, the composition is really bright and green to the point, to me, where it's skunky. And that might just be like how I'm perceiving it or how it is on my skin. There are a ton of scents that people hate that I put on my skin that they think are skunky, and then I put it on and I'm like loving it. So I think this is one of those things where just my nose doesn't get down with this as much. It's really good. I mean, it's gutsy and awesome, but one that I wouldn't necessarily purchase. All the rest, man, would I. Okay, last but not least, my favorite. God, this is good. Oud Galore. So the nose again is Natalie. The top notes are clove and cinnamon, which I love. Mid notes are geranium, rose, and orris root. I love that they use orris root so much. So root of the iris, it's gorgeous, powdery. I love powder, so there's that. And then the base notes are garwood, which is oud. And as you probably know, oud can smell a gazillion different ways, I feel like, depending on the strength, what it's combined with. Nagamotha, I need to learn more about what that is. I'm not gonna lie, I don't know at this moment. I'm gonna learn though. And then it also has, again, my writing is the pits, incense, sandalwood, and a type of, like a resin or balm. So, I was expecting to just get like oud beast mode straight out of the sprayer. And this is one of those where I'm like, this is gonna be a favorite. Like, this is incredible. And Mr. Collins might say that this is for men or unisex. I'm gonna wear the hell out of this. It is so good. To me, this is actually not what I wouldn't put oud first. I would say this is a really awesome, creative, artistic rose scent. Rose comes out really clear for me. And the geranium, I think the herbalness of the geranium kind of heightens that rose scent. And then, yeah, I mean, it does have some of the oud wood, of course, some of the incense, sandalwood, cinnamon. This is freaking gorgeous. And I would say if you like things like oud bouquet or, oh God, what's my, I can't think of the name of it, another rose oud combination that I love. If you love creative, kind of deep, interesting rose perfumes, I think this is a total winner. It's so, 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 so good. You know, and I have to say, like, I had to check my judgment a little when I was like looking into this house. you know, I would imagine as a model for Loren, he's done really well for himself, and I thought, gosh, you know, maybe he won't take as many risks. Maybe this will be more mainstream or more to the commercial market, but like these are really gutsy creations, really cool. Like, we should be so glad that he has put his interest and money toward this, to these noses, because they've really created beautiful work. And I love that they all tie to the story and history of, or most of them, to the Harlem Renaissance. And he kind of talks in his story about how it ties, like he's so into fragrance, like he remembers his dad wearing gray flannel and how it evoked these memories. And he talks about living for some time in Paris to really like study perfume making and work, collaborate with people. And he lives in a brownstone in Harlem, and he talks about like connecting those dots. And I think all of that, like the feeling of those things, the history, the experience, all comes through in these perfumes. So even though these noses kind of probably work with him collaboratively, you can tell that he's taking the reins as far as the storytelling and the history. So I would say this is somebody like to absolutely like generously support. I learned about his company on his website, and I would encourage you to go there. Again, I think the sample set is a great way to start, although I would say there are plenty of people talking about how great the scents are. I don't think you can go wrong. But I would say start with a sample set and then dig into what you love the most. Can't wait to support him more and learn about him more. So, would love to know if you know about this creator, if you've ever seen him in advertising. I think he brings a lot of style to, obviously, to everything he does. And this leaves me with a question or homework for you. If there's somebody that you think is a tremendous model or has a really interesting look that isn't creating perfume yet or doesn't have a line, like who do you think is stylish enough that could translate, or gutsy enough that could translate into a scent? Like, who would you like to hear from more in that way? Again, thank you so much for watching. I hope you'll continue to stay in touch, and I look forward to talking with you more soon. Okay, have a great day. Happy weekend. Bye.